You need to be very careful of the environment you find yourself in. Your environment has the biggest influence on the quality of your life, your character, your personality, and eventually who you become. The places you go to, the place where you stay, the people you hang out with, the things you hear, the things you see, the things you speak of, all have a bigger impact on your life more than anything else. I want you to imagine your life like a seed that has a potential to grow into a tree and eventually bear fruits. Now, if you take that seed and put it into a fertile ground where it's being nurtured every single day, that seed would eventually grow into a fully fleshed tree and bear those fruits. But if you take that seed and put in an unfertile ground where the soil is rocky or the soil is even sandy and no care is being given to that seed, it will eventually wither and die. That is the same thing that happens to you when you put yourself in various environments. Any environment that you get into, it nurtures the life within you to rise to that potential that you have, or it drains you of that potential and drains the life within you and leaves you stagnant. And so we must be very careful of the environments we put ourselves in or the places where we find ourselves, because they have a very big impact on us rather than more than anything else. Sometimes we fail to admit this. We think that we are Superman, like nothing can change us. But we do not know how subtle these changes are, because our senses are always interacting with the environment, and sometimes these influences come without us even noticing. I was able to experience this firsthand when I moved from India back home in 2023. On the first day I went back home, um, there was a big feast, a lot of food, a lot of things to drink. My mom gave me some wine. I said, no, I won't drink wine, because I had stayed over 2 years without drinking alcohol, which was sort of a lifestyle that really helped me to like unlock new levels of consciousness. But that story for another day. But when I got home and I refused, she was shocked that I refused to drink the wine. And she said, welcome to Cameroon. Don't worry. We give you time. You're just coming. When she said that, I was like, nah, it can't happen. I've not been drinking for the past 2 years. I wouldn't start now. But little did I know that I was eventually going to start drinking. So my time in Cameroon, there were habits that were that were very dear to me when I was in India, that kept on fading away because of the environment I was in. There were days when I woke up, there was no light. Instead of me to sit down and do the work, I heard people discussing outside. There were some times where I would withdraw myself and not want to indulge in those discussions. Just slowly, day by day, I kept on seeing the big shift that was happening in my life. From not even interacting with those people, it led me to going there every morning, sitting with them, engaging in discussions that were of no interest to me before, just speaking about random and useless things. And even times when I spoke about things that were things that were true to me, things that I spoke about business, I spoke about entrepreneurship. People are like, bro, that thing does not work here. You can't do that here. And so sometimes we are in places where it's not that we are not capable of growing. Is that the environment itself is not conducive enough for us to grow. All our ideas are being discarded. There's no encouragement from anybody. There is nobody who thinks like you. How would you grow in such an environment where there is nothing that supports the kind of life you want to live? That is why I'm here today, to encourage you that you need to be very careful about the places you go to, the people you hang out with, because they have a very big impact on your life. You may feel like you're Superman, like nobody can change you, but when change happens, you will not even know. You find yourself indulging in things that you were wondering, like they were never, in fact, they were never even on your mind. So you need to be very careful about your environment. And if you've ever noticed, there are some things that you do when you're away from home, and there are things that you do when you are home that you don't do them when you get home. They always have these two personalities where when you're in a certain environment, there are kind of habits that you indulge in, and when you're in this other environment, there are different habits that you indulge in. But what you always need to do is that you need to find yourself, you need to put yourself consciously in places that are true to your nature, true to the kind of life you want to live, and the kind of places in fact, the kind of place you want to go, and the kind of things that you want to do. If not, every potential in you is going to get drained, and you will become a very dry seed. You'll become a very dry seed, all because you found yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time. There are people who have actually gotten into trouble just for being present in one particular environment where something happened, even though they had nothing to do with it, they were also taken away. That is the power of the environment. It shifts the kind of mindset that you have. Your environment influences your thoughts. Your thoughts influences your actions. Your action influences the kind of habits you form. Your habits determine the outcome of your future. If you spend your time every single day criticizing, blaming, finding excuses, talking about useless things, you will never get the outcomes you seek. But if you spend your time in an environment that all you do, everywhere you wake up, you're only inspired to do more, to work more, to push more, to keep going, you will eventually meet with the success that you're looking for. So be very, very careful with the environment you find yourself in. If you get into a place where there is discussions happening that are not true to you, leave that place. You do not owe anybody any explanation. If somebody invites you to where you know that it does not align with you, say no. You should learn how to say no to things. You should learn how to have some level of self-control. If not, you will become a product of your environment. If you lack self-control, you are guaranteed to become a product of whatever environment you find yourself in. So I encourage you today, as the week begins, make sure you are conscious about the places you go to. Make sure you are conscious about the things you speak of. Make sure you are conscious about the things that you let into your ear. Don't entertain gossip. Make sure you are conscious about the things you watch, because all those things influences the kind of thoughts you carry, and those thoughts eventually influence the kind of decisions you will make in your life. So when you meet with something in the future, don't blame life because you chose that path. Like we all do every single day. We always like to feel like a victim, but we are responsible. Take responsibility of your life and do what is aligned with the kind of life you want to live. I hope that makes a difference for you today. I wish you all the very best, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you, and bye-bye.